You think you know Iran. You've seen it on the news. Nuclear weapons, sanctions, war threats, axis of evil. The country America's been warning you about for 40 years. But here is what the news never shows you. Iran has one of the youngest populations on Earth. 60% of its university graduates are women. It has ancient cities more beautiful than Rome. Its people are some of the most educated and culturally rich in the entire Middle East. And yet, on December 28, 2025, something happened that the world barely reported. Millions of Iranians poured into the streets, not just in Tehran, across every city, every province, men and women together. Young people, old people, doctors, students, factory workers, all of them chanting the same thing. The government's response? They shot them. They cut the internet. And they killed thousands of their own people in the streets. This is Iran in 2026. Not the Iran the news shows you. The real one. Stay with me, because by the end of this video you will never see this country the same way again. Iran is not a small, poor, isolated country. It is home to 90 million people. It has one of the oldest continuous civilizations on Earth, over 3,000 years of history. Persepolis, Isfahan, Shiraz. Cities so breathtakingly beautiful that millions of tourists visited before the revolution of 1979 changed everything. Before 1979, Tehran was called the Paris of the Middle East. Women wore miniskirts. Universities were filled with students studying science, art, medicine. Iran was a modern, developing nation. Then, in 79 days, everything changed. The Islamic Revolution of 1979 replaced the government with a theocracy, religious dictatorship led by a supreme leader. And for the 90 million people living inside Iran today, that revolution never ended. The supreme leader controls everything. The courts, the military, the media, the internet, even what women are allowed to wear in public. And the people, especially the young people, have had enough. Here's a fact that will stop you cold. 60% of Iranian university graduates are women. Iran has female doctors, engineers, architects, scientists, artists. Some of the most educated women in the entire Middle East live in Iran. And yet, a woman in Iran can be arrested for showing her hair in public. Since 1979, women in Iran have been required by law to wear the hijab in public, not as a religious choice, as a legal requirement. Refusing means arrest, fines, and imprisonment. But in 2022, something shifted. A 22-year-old Kurdish woman named Mahsa Amini was arrested by Iran's morality police for allegedly wearing her hijab incorrectly. 3 days later, she died in police custody. The world erupted. Inside Iran, women took to the streets, removed their hijabs, and cut their hair in protest. The movement became known as Woman, Life, Freedom. The government killed hundreds, imprisoned thousands, and thought it was over. It was not over. On December 28, 2025, protests started again across every city. Over 3 weeks, thousands were reported dead, the majority younger than 30. One of them was Mahsa Amini, a 23-year-old fashion design student at University of Tehran. 2 weeks before she was killed, she had finished class for the day and joined an anti-regime rally. She was shot in the head from close range. She was not a soldier. She was a student. She just wanted freedom. When the protests started in December 2025, the Iranian government did something it had done before. It turned off the internet. not slowed it down, not filtered it. On January 8, 2026, authorities implemented a new total internet and telecommunications shutdown across Iran. Imagine waking up tomorrow and every app on your phone is dead. No WhatsApp, no Instagram, no news, no way to tell your family you are safe, no way to show the world what is happening outside your window. That is what 90 million Iranians experience. Iran has one of the most sophisticated internet censorship systems in the world. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, all permanently blocked inside Iran. The people use VPNs to access the outside world. In 2025, the government began aggressively cracking down on VPN usage too. The regime does not just want to control what you do, it wants to control what you know. Here is something the news never connects for you. The reason millions of Iranians took to the streets in December 2025 was not just politics. It was hunger. It was desperation. It was an economy so broken that ordinary people could no longer survive. Projections indicate that those living under the absolute poverty line in Iran will soon surpass 40 million people, nearly half the entire population. The Iranian rial has lost over 90% of its value in the last decade. Salaries have not kept up. Food prices have tripled. Medicine is scarce because of sanctions. Young graduates with university degrees cannot find jobs. This is not a poor country by nature. Iran sits on some of the largest oil and gas reserves on Earth. The poverty is not natural. It is manufactured by a government that spends its money on weapons, proxy wars, and nuclear programs while its own people go hungry. When the protests of December 2025 reached the peak, the government's response was immediate and brutal. Iranian authorities responded with violence. Over 3,000 deaths reported, including security forces. Some civil society organizations estimate the number could be in the tens of thousands. These figures could not be verified due to the internet shutdown. Read that again. Tens of thousands of people possibly killed by their own government in January 2026. And the world barely noticed because the internet was off, because the journalists were arrested, because the cameras were confiscated. Behind the high walls of censorship and silence, names are never recorded anywhere. The women who killed, the students who disappeared, the fathers who never came home. Most of them will never have their names spoken publicly. This is the Iran the news does not show you. Not nuclear reactors, not military parades, not politicians making threats. A 23-year-old girl who just wanted to finish her fashion degree, shot in the head for attending a rally. A country of 90 million educated, cultured, ancient people, half of them living in poverty manufactured by their own government. Young people, younger than 30, dying in the streets for the right to simply exist freely. The media shows you Iran as a threat, as an enemy, as a problem to be solved by bombs and sanctions. But the 90 million people living inside it, they are not a threat. They are prisoners, and they are fighting with their lives for the same things you take for granted every single day. If this video showed you something real, subscribe to Erased Nations. Every week we go inside a country the world thinks it understands, but doesn't. Next week, Cuba, the island America forgot. The story is always more complicated and always more human.